In this video, I want to pick up where we left off with the file that we created in the last video. And starting off, I want to get rid of our embedded JavaScript and our inline JavaScript that we have here, just so that we are creating all of our JavaScript in our scripts.js file. And the first thing I want to look at is setting variables. So a variable is a named reference to a value that you can use later on in your code. So here I have let my string equal, and we'll put hello world wide web. And then we end all of our lines with a semicolon like we looked at before. So the browser knows that's the end of that line and to move on to the next one. Here I'm going to set another variable, let my number equal 25. And we can even set a variable to equal the value of a mathematical operation or a calculation. So 5 plus 5. And then we can do different things with those variables. I want to look at the alert again. Like we looked at before, we can alert some string, just whatever value we want to put in there. We can alert just a single number. We can alert the result of a mathematical calculation, so say 5 times 5. We can alert our variables. Regardless of what we have in there, we'll get some kind of response as long as that is set in some way. So I can alert my string, alert my number, and alert my calc. So then we can see what happens. Remember when the browser's loading the HTML, it's going to load all of this. It's going to hit this script tag, and then it's going to find the scripts.js file and start running what's inside of here. And because we don't have any of this set aside inside of other callable functions, then it's going to just be running these. So now when we go back to our page, we refresh it, we get this sum string that we have here, the number 5, 25, because that's that calculation, 5 times 25, hello World Wide Web, my number, and then my calculation. So because we have those done up that way, this is just a quick look at alerting things. It's a good way that you can use to just kind of see what's going on at a different point or notify the user of something happening, all depending on what it is you might need to do. So now, so that we don't have to go through these alerts again, here I'm going to use single line comments, which is just 2 forward slashes, to comment out my variables. And then down here, I'm going to look at another way to comment things, and it's using block comments, which is the / asterisk, and then asterisk / to close it. That way you can comment out your code. You can add comments to let somebody else know what you're doing, and something like that. Then the next thing that I want to look at is using the prompt. So I want to set whatever I get back from the user to a variable. So let prompt return equal, then I'm calling this prompt function. And in this prompt function, we can give it 2 strings. The first string is going to be what information you're giving the user. which for something like a prompt would be asking them a question or giving them some sort of instruction on what to enter. So here I'm going to say, what is your name? So now when I run this, I'm going to get this, what is your name? And then the value is put into this prompt return. So here, I'm going to put in my name. And right now, nothing's happening because I'm not doing anything with this variable. But before I move on and do something with that variable, I'm going to add in the second piece, which is the default value that would be in there. So if I want the default value to be Barry Allen, then I can add that in there, and then we can see that's already pre-filled into this, similarly to adding the value to an input field or adding some content to a text area field, something like that. It's pre-filling it for us. So I could click OK and just take whatever value was already in there. Again, that depends on what you need to happen with that. So here I'm going to alert whatever got entered into that prompt by doing alert prompt return. When we do this prompt here, it's going to stop the code and wait for some kind of response from the user. So now when we refresh our page, we can see we have this prompt. Everything is stopped. It's waiting for something to get entered and press OK. I can just leave that as Barry Allen. And then now the alert is going to give me whatever I put in there. So that prompt says Barry Allen. When I refresh the page, I could put my name in there. And when I click OK, it moves on in the code to that alert that we have again. And it has my name in there. So that's just some simple usage of alerts and prompts, as well as setting variables that you can use later in your code. In my next video, we're going to start looking at working with some elements in our HTML so that we can do some additional things, add some content to the page, read content from the page, things like that, by using these other methods that we have available.